Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Outsiders Fantasy Podcast. Today we are going to do a blended episode like we usually do on pay-per-view nights. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened last week in wrestling. Except for NXT, we're going to save that for Halloween Havoc next week when we do a pre-show before then. But tonight we're going to do AEW first, and then we're going to break down the past Raw and Smackdown and how that's going to lead into or how that's leading into Hell in a Cell. We're going to break down the match cards for Hell in a Cell, and then we're going to give our prediction on the winner and how that's going to go. So, as always, before I forget, as I was reminded before I hit the go live button, let's crack open that cold one for Stone Cold. All right, let's get started.
All right, guys, we're going to go straight into AEW. So Dynamite this week was pretty much a setup for their Full Gear pay-per-view. They have their number one contender first round matches for the number one contendership tournament. So first match out was Wardlow versus Jungle Boy. You knew right off the bat this was going to be a squash match. I love Jungle Boy Jack, but you knew Wardlow was going to smash him. So Wardlow smashes him, continues on to the second round. So the next match was Kenny Omega versus Sonny Kiss.
Didn't that last like 8 seconds or whatever? He did like a one-way.
It was a squash match. So Kenny Omega's entrance was 15 minutes long, and the match was literally 8 seconds. So he's went back to this elaborate New Japan wrestling entrance, and they go like 5-time wrestler of the year, broke Meltzer's 5-star matches so many freaking times, names all of his championships since he started wrestling in Canada. It's ridiculous. Like the thing was a list this long. But anyway, he finally gets done with his intro, match starts, and he does one move that I don't even remember and then hits him with the one-winged angel, and then that's it. Ding, ding. So
in his face while he was pinning him, he was like,
yeah,
he's like, come on, bro. Talk about protecting the finisher.
So could you imagine what Sonny Kiss was thinking? Like, oh, great, I'm in the tournament. And then, well, you're going to get crushed in 8 seconds. Okay.
That's probably the face he made. That's like, it was like
that Arthur hand.
Yeah.
But anyway, so next up will be Kenny Omega's match next week will be round 2, but it was Ray Phoenix versus Penta El Zero, which are actual real life brothers. So this was a cool match. Best match of the night. These are two of the greatest luchadors ever to wrestle. If you like luchador style wrestling, this was a match for you. So I suggest you go back and watch it. AEW Dynamite this week and watch Phoenix versus El Zero. In a surprise, Phoenix picks up the win. I figured Penta would get the win and go on to face Omega, but I think they're trying to push Phoenix just because he's just as strong as his brother. So anyway, next week it'll be Omega versus Ray Phoenix for the second round, and then Wardlow will be facing the winner of this next match, which was Boom Boom Colt Cabana and Hangman Adam Page. Really good match. Colt Cabana gets on my nerves, but he is a very great wrestler. I mean, he knows his way around. Yeah. He's awesome. The reason he doesn't get over in like TNA or WWE or anything like that, he couldn't even get over in NWA when they were doing that run, is because he will not change his character. He wants to stay this stupid, goofy Boom Boom Cabana. He's a great wrestler, but he's a terrible character. I don't understand why he doesn't realize that, but anyway. Hangman Page wins because we all know what this is leading up to. It's going to be Hangman Page versus Omega in the finals. We all know this. We saw this a mile away. So good match, but we all knew Hangman was going to win. So the last match of the night was Butcher and the Blade versus Private Party versus Reynolds and Silver from Dark Order versus the Young Bucks for the number one contendership for the tag team titles. So they're at Full Gear. They're going to have FTR versus the winner of this match. Really cool match. But it kind of you saw that they were pushing the Young Bucks really hard throughout this match. It kind of got muddied up because Reynolds of Dark Order takes a knee to the face and is completely out stone cold in the middle of the ring. Like, he's out. And he's just laying there. People are doing moves over top of him. He wakes up and like is hazed, and he tries to do a couple moves, and then the Young Bucks do a flying knee and pretty much throw him out of the ring into the doctors. Like, concussion protocol be damned. I don't know if you got a broken neck or not. We're just going to throw you out of this match. But he was out cold. I mean, he was like this. So, but Young Bucks win. So it's going to be Young Bucks versus FTR at Full Gear for the AEW Tag Team titles. Short, condensed AEW, but we're getting ready for a pay-per-view. So that's AEW for this week.
All right, cool. So I will start off with Raw. So in the beginning, we had a segment with Alexa Bliss and The Fiend. They made their first appearance as whatever you want to call them, valet and superstar, or
the creepy couple.
Yeah, whatever they're trying to pull there. I don't know if it's a platonic couple or a relationship or just a possession or what is it? Alexa, blink twice if you need help.
Yeah.
But anyway, Retribution somehow decided to charge the ring, and as soon as I saw Retribution come across those screens, I was like, what the fuck? They're about to bury them with The Fiend. And sure enough, that's what happened.
Y'all didn't like Retribution? Let's fix that real quick.
Yeah, right. So Retribution came out, filled the ring. Fiend, Alexa Bliss sitting there in the middle of the ring holding hands very nonchalantly. But Fiend just staring. Yeah, they never moved, never even looked around. They looked straight at the camera. Mm-hmm. And Fiend's eyes were I swear, dude, I've never seen Fiend's eyes glow that much in my life. Like that, he was scary last night.
Yeah.
Or I mean, on Monday. Anyway, Retribution pulls the whole shield thing, surround the ring, get in at the same time. They just stand there holding each other's hand, no problem. All of a sudden, lights cut off. Lights come on. Fiend and Alexa Bliss are gone. Then what comes on?
You hear the guys from Retribution go, "Where'd he go?"
Yeah. Where do you think he'd go? Like,
nice
what's
observation, dipshit.
Yeah. Way to never watch Raw or SmackDown ever. So the lights turned back on. They're gone. And then the Hurt Business came out, and it was Hurt. And then Hurt Business and Retribution. So after that, I'm sorry, before the match, I didn't mean to. Oh wait, no. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yep, anyway, yeah.
You're on the right track.
Hurt Business. Yeah, it's Hurt Business versus Retribution. So what they're trying to do, again, I hate when they put heels versus heels, but I guess they're trying to turn Hurt Business a little bit more face, or at least I thought, until you watch SmackDown and or Raw or whichever show. They attacked Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil wanted to join.
They beat the worldwide out of Titus O'Neil.
Exactly. So. But if that would have never happened, I would have told you that they're trying to turn Hurt Business babyface.
Yeah.
But no, they're still heel, and they're just fighting heels versus heels, and that invests me none in that match. Number one, because Retribution, it's corny. They're kind of corny. I haven't seen what any of them can really do other than Mustafa Ali. I know he can wrestle, but is he going to be able to carry a group of four bigger people than him? I don't know. That's just he has no psychology over them. He has no power over them in any way. Like, what's to keep those big dudes from turning around and just choke slamming Mustafa Ali through the table and taking over that group?
Yeah.
The dynamic doesn't make sense yet. They're still developing it. I'll still give it hope, but I just don't like that they're putting them up against the Hurt Business. After the match, Fiend comes back out. And he absolutely runs roughshod over the Hurt Business. He knocks one of them out of the ring. I can't remember who. And then he clotheslines another one outside of the ring that's running around to get him. And then as he walks around to where the hard cam side of the ring is, hard cam is the side that always faces the ring where the wrestlers do their moves while they're looking to the camera. So around that side of the ring, Someone's running at him. He catches him. Sister Abigail, like mid-move, it was sick as hell. And then he gets in the ring to go for the last member. And he caught him with the mandible claw, put him straight into Sister Abigail, and then did that to him as well. So just completely run roughshod over Retribution. The only thing that would have made that better, probably would have made a statement, as if Mustafa Ali got a mandible claw until he passed the hell out. But other than that, that was a really cool moment. Like, if you didn't like Chad said, if you didn't like Retribution, don't worry, they took care of it for you.
They went ahead and buried it real good.
Yeah. But they gave him a promo at the end of the show. That's what I don't understand. Like, anyway, we'll talk about that promo in a little bit, but there wasn't much to it. But the next match, the match that probably surprised the hell out of me the most in Raw was Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles. I am not a Matt Riddle fan, and I've made that known very clearly. He needs to drop the bro segment. He needs to just stop all that crap and just wrestle, because I saw in this match, which of course AJ Styles is a master of making people look good. Yeah. But I've seen Matt Riddle work like this against all of his opponents. Like, he can flat out move in the ring. He's flexible. He has a great knee. I wish he can incorporate that into a move, because that could be a great KO move that they popularize now. Like Daniel Bryan's running knee, a Superman punch, a spear, things like that. KO.
When did AJ Styles put applications out for Giants?
Yeah, right. I don't know. Well, when you're that short, like, everyone's taller than you, so.
Yeah, but this dude's huge, man. He's like Giant Gonzalez big.
I mean, he is pretty big. He's all legs too.
It looks like Taco Fall.
But yeah, this was a great overall match. I mean, it was just setting it up. It was just an opener. AJ Styles gave his little, this is my house, it's blah 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 type of thing, and then Matt Riddle came out. They're still trying to push Matt Riddle as a face. I really wish, if they're going to use his bro character, everybody hates that. Everyone hates a bro. Like, there's cool people that you call bro, and then there's those bros like that you don't want to be around, and that's Matt Riddle. I wish they'd either change his persona or make him a heel, because he would be a fantastic cocky ass heel that can just whip ass in the ring. Yeah. So next, the squash match that we saw coming from last week. The Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Lana. Called this from the moment Lana won. There is no chance Asuka's dropping to Lana on Raw with the championship.
They're going to job Lana out until her contract's up, and then she runs to AEW with her husband.
Yeah, that's obviously what's coming. Yeah. But yeah, so it was basically a squash match. Not really much to go by on that. It wasn't that great. And then we have, after that, Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler. They beat the Riot Squad, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, as well as the team of Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans.
Which was didn't you just take Peyton Royce out of a tag team?
Yeah, with the Iconics, and you split them up, and then you put her with Lacey Evans, which is no dynamic at all. I don't know. It just seemed all forced together. They don't know what they want to do with that women's tag team division. It's just they're always changing pieces. It's just Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler won just because they want to keep their champion strong, but other than that, there's really not much to it.
I see something happen with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke just because they're pushing them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's really
they gave them their own entrance, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only other option I'll see happening. They're not investing in anybody else. They're just putting, like, Natalya and Lana. Like, they're just throwing people fucking together. And then after that, Jeff Hardy crashed Elias's epic concert. The only thing that would have made this better is if this was in front of a packed live crowd singing along with Elias. Elias is one of those people that is just over, and no matter you get him out in front of people, they're going to chant his catchphrases no matter how stupid and fat he calls the audience. It doesn't matter.
No matter how bad he was lip syncing.
Yeah, but he did his concert. Elias went to he finished the concert, handed his guitar to the roadie, and started to walk off and give his band congratulations because he actually had a live band this time. And then all of a sudden, the roadie
to hide all of his musical deficiencies.
Yeah, right. And then the roadie, with his back turned to the camera, started ripping this sick guitar lick. And then Elias obviously got pissed off, thinking he was going to be upstaged. Turned around, and then Jeff Hardy revealed himself. As we know, months ago, they had a little feud going that got got shelved. So now it got unshelved. And then they're kind of leading that up for Hell in a Cell tonight. So, and then Kofi Kingston, well, the New Day, the New Day, which is just Kofi, as you guys know, Big E and Kofi. Big E got split from Kofi and Woods. So it's New Day, which is Kofi and Woods, and then now, E is over on the other side.
Make sure to say there is still the New Day, and Big E's still a part of it. They're just dividing and conquering.
Yeah, exactly.
Big E's going to take over SmackDown.
Yeah.
And Xavier and Kofi's going to take over Raw. So
I'm interested to see if they put them against each other in Survivor Series match in next month. That would be interesting. But all I know is they were not happy originally about the split. So if they try to put them against each other at Survivor Series, I don't think they're gonna like that either. But anyway, so Kofi Kingston and Woods came out there, did a little talk, introduction to themselves, talking about how they're still the New Day, blah blah blah. And then Sheamus comes out, wants to interrupt, talk his crap. And I thought it was gonna be a tag match, and I was like, oh no, Sheamus in another tag team for like 7 years now. But no, it turned into a singles match between Kofi Kingston and Sheamus. I thought it was obviously going to be Sheamus wins because usually when Kofi's in a singles match, he usually doesn't do that well for whatever reason. But surprisingly, Kofi won. It was a roll-up pin, which is now apparently the most powerful move in wrestling.
It's the most devastating finisher in the game.
But Kofi actually kicked out of it. And then he did a crucifix pin on Sheamus. So it was like a back and forth pin. Sheamus rolled out of it. Kofi rolled the other way, got up, Trouble in Paradise. So it was like a bunch of people twisting all over the place. Hit Sheamus, pin him 1, 2, 3. And that was fantastic. Which brings me to probably the most entertaining match of the night. El Gran Gordo and Tucker defeating Miz and Morrison.
Senor Tucky.
Oh my gosh. So
Otis is gold, man.
I love him. He showed off his Otis showed off his supreme lucha libre skills, including
abilities.
Yeah, including a dazzling arm drag off the top rope and a devastating splash that crushed the A-lister and gave his team the victory. That was absolutely hilarious. So just to keep it moving, Braun Strowman defeated Keith Lee. That was a battle of heavyweights for sure. There wasn't anything like as explosive and like over the top as I thought or that I wanted. That I know that these guys can give because I've seen their matches. I've seen Braun Strowman go against Big Show and Braun Strowman like kip up and do crazy shit. And I've seen Keith Lee wrestle some pretty dynamic dudes and hold his own. So this one kind of disappointed. And then finally they finished with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton inside the cell. Randy came out there, locked himself in, sat down, talked about his accomplishments in the cell, who all he faced, especially mentioning The Undertaker, and that's where he finally earned his respect, was in that match. Drew gave a promo in the beginning saying that Randy, he heard Randy was giving a promo later on, so he was going to stick around. He might show up. And sure enough, he did. Randy taunted him because he had already locked the cage. As Chad's showing you, Drew went over behind the barricade, grabbed the bolt cutters, and then came over there, opened it, and they started mouthing, and then the camera cut off. So we never got to see. And I love how they played that because usually in the past they would have them brawl for like 2 minutes in the ring, and it wouldn't mean anything. But this makes you anticipate the match. Like, oh, we're going to see them get their hands on each other. I don't really want it. Wait, no, they're not going to do it. Shit, I wanted to see it. And then
so that's why you're going to tune into tonight.
Yeah. So I really love how they did that. They really held the suspense. That's something that they did a lot in the Attitude Era that they didn't do enough, in my opinion. They don't do enough now. And on to SmackDown. So that we opened up with the very first episode of the KO show, and KO had his guest Daniel Bryan out there. And KO was the leader of the Yes movement, as he calls him, as everybody calls him, as they should. Mm-hmm. KO basically brought KO basically brought Daniel Bryan out there to kind of squire him to be a part of his tag team, because Kevin Owens says one of the things that he hasn't done in WWE is win a tag team championship.
Smart move by WWE, by the way. Put two of your most over wrestlers together.
Yeah.
I mean, good move.
Yeah. I really dig it. And then they were immediately after that point, after that announcement was made, they were interrupted by Ziggler and Robert Roode. And then shortly thereafter, by Shinsuke and Cesaro. So I think adding Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan to the tag team division that we felt was weak, maybe
makes that stronger.
Maybe this will make them strong enough to where they stay on their own damn brand, in my opinion. So now it turned into an 8-man tag team match, and
hey, I wonder what their tag team name is going to be. Is it going to be Yes, like Yes or No, or Yes RKO?
I don't know, but the 8-man tag team match turned into Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens and the Street Profits against Robert Roode, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and Shinsuke. Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and the Profits got the win. They had a hilarious segment later on in the show after that, where Kevin Owens had a daggone do-rag on or whatever, or something like what we were wearing. And Daniel Bryan's like, I'm in. Talking to the Street Profits, fist me, boys. And then Kevin Owens like spits his water out and shit like that. Lord. It was awful, but in a hilarious way.
Daniel Bryan, the whitest white guy ever in the history of white guys.
And then on to what we kind of called coming. We couldn't see Otis cashing in and losing. The only way we could see Otis, we knew they didn't want him to have this briefcase anymore, but we couldn't see him losing by cashing it in because they love Otis. He's kind of got some push going.
Yeah, they didn't want to bury him that bad. Like they
they had the
Baron Corbin.
Yeah. So they had a court case, a legal trial for lawsuit of the Money in the Bank contract. Miz emerged victorious in the lawsuit by a piece of last-minute evidence from Miz, and then that made originally JBL ruled in Otis's favor, and then Miz brought in the last-minute piece of evidence. And that made Otis change his mind. Miz had a huge smile on his face. Then JBL declared that Otis must face the Miz for Money in the Bank contract at Hell in a Cell. And we got a guest star. And then after that, we had Lars Sullivan. Sullivan. He defeated Shorty G. As we knew.
If they bury Chad Gable anymore, you won't be able to see him.
Well, a good thing that did come out of this is at the end they did an interview with Chad Gable in the back, and Adam Pearce questioned him about this. He had a little promo with Chad Gable, and Chad clarified that he was done being called Shorty G, and his name was Chad Gable, which is what we've wanted for so long.
Good.
So hopefully we'll get a more serious persona, because that dude can flat out wrestle. They're just
Jason Jordan could come back and we'd have the resurgence of American Alpha, but
we need tag teams bad.
Yeah.
Then on to Sasha Banks and Bailey for the contract signing. Basically, it was as usual. It's just an excuse to get two people in the ring, and one person beats the heck out of another person. Sasha had Bailey in a chair doing the bank statement, like gripping her around the chair. just as a build up for the Hell in a Cell match tonight. Rollins defeated Murphy, and then the Mysterio kids came to Murphy's aid afterwards. This didn't. I mean, like, you could see this coming because why is Seth Rollins going to lose to Murphy? But at the same time, it makes no sense at all. This is basically probably just to finish off this storyline that obviously wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. And then finally, we're going to end with the announcement that Roman Reigns said he would make as far as the stipulations to the I Quit match, making it the laid out the ultimate consequences. Basically, number one, it's going to take place in the Hell in a Cell. The only way you can win in this I Quit match is if the other person cannot continue or says I quit. That is it. Roman also added to the stipulation on SmackDown that if Jay quits, him and his whole family will fall in line and give honor and tribute and listen to Roman as their tribal chief. If they don't, they will be excommunicated out of the family, and they will no longer be taken care of because apparently Roman takes care of them. I don't believe that. I don't know. Anyway, obviously we all know they all make their own money, but anyway. But then there ended up being I can't. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. So they got a chair, Jimmy and Jay. They got a chair, and they started whooping the crap out of Roman Reigns. Sorry, I was reading my notes. But yeah, that's pretty much how the match ended. After that ultimatum, usually they like to end with the faces beating the crap out of the heels right before the big matches and stuff like that. So anyway, so that's how that went. So on to Hell in a Cell real quick before you guys miss it. So there's only going to be 5 matches tonight.
It'll be really long.
Yeah, it's going to be really long. So we got Otis and Miz in a singles match for the Money in the Bank contract.
That's going to be a cool match.
Yeah, again, depending on how this goes, we'll see how the future turns out for the Money in the Bank contract.
Hopefully they let Otis keep it.
Yeah,
but why would you do that whole trial thing if you let him keep it? I don't understand.
But that means, you got to let him win the championship. And who's he going to beat for that? Roman or Drew McIntyre? Neither. Mm-hmm. Unless he goes after a U.S. title or Intercontinental title or something like that.
They could change that up, yeah.
Yeah. But then you got, after that, the Jeff Hardy versus Elias match. And
Hardy
then
better bring a suitcase because he's going to have to carry that one.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a lot of, as Chad said, high flying spots carried by Jeff Hardy. Elias
taking 5 or 6 more years off of Hardy's life.
Yeah, Elias, God bless him. He's a great wrestler in the ring. As a regular wrestler, he's a great promo cutter, great personality, great charisma. He is not built to be in Jeff Hardy matches. He's not. So Hardy's going to have to carry this. But it's necessary because Hardy's more over than Elias because Elias took some time off. And I think this is a necessary step to get Elias back into the forefront of his audience and stuff. So, and as Chad said, Jeff Hardy's just going all out. I think Hardy's contract isn't too much longer, and he's wanting to cross everything off his list and make sure he leaves it all out there before he hangs it up. So this is definitely another one of his lists. Like, he jumped off a ladder last pay-per-view, so he's probably going to jump off of.
Yeah, he's going to jump off the Hell in the Cell. We're going to see it coming. He can't have Shane McMahon have something over him.
Yeah, right, exactly. So Jeff Hardy versus Elias, and then after that, it's going to be SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley, the defending champion, against Sasha Banks. This has been built up for a while. We've been foreshadowed this for a long, long time that one of them was going to turn on the other. I happen to thought it was going to be Sasha turning on Bayley. I was wrong. Bayley turned on Sasha. But from what Bailey said, she did it before Sasha could turn on her. And I believe that, to be honest, because I was waiting for that to happen.
Yep.
Anyway, they've been going back and forth for weeks now. It culminated with Sasha wedging Bailey in between a chair and wrenching her back across it. So this should be an interesting match. The last time we saw Sasha and Bailey in a match this big, with this much of a time limit, not close, with this much of a time limit, it was their Iron Man match in NXT, and that was the best match. Yeah, and that was one of the best matches, not only that they've done, but that's been in NXT, in my opinion.
Forget Meltzer's 5-star rating. That gets the Outsiders 5-star rating.
Yeah. I'm excited for this because the last time these two girls, or ladies, I should say, had a match this serious on a main stage, they showed out. It was fantastic. Then on to the WWE Championship match, the Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. This is going to be a slugfest. This is going to be a bunch of punts, a bunch of claymores.
I have a feeling. I know they don't. I think they have a no blood policy. I don't know, but I think somebody's going to get busted open the hard way.
Maybe.
You know, Randy don't care. He took an elbow from Lesnar, so.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think this is going to be in good terms of old JR, a slobber knocker. There's don't watch this match if you want finishers protected, because this won't be one of them. They're both going to kick out of everything. But I still think it's going to be an entertaining match, because this is one of the types of matches that you do kick out of finishers. It's a big match in a big pay-per-view on a big card for a championship. This is where you add the drama and the suspense. All the other pay-per-views that you had with them up to this point, there should have been no finisher kickouts. You save that for this rubber match, the third match. So this should go hopefully how it should go. We'll talk about who we think wins here in a second. And then finally, the main event, it's the I Quit match inside Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Jey Uso, who so far is not going to have Jimmy, but I assume Jimmy's going to come out there at some point.
And I have a feeling, since they're going to get kicked out of the family, Rikishi's going to have to show up sometime, because Rikishi doesn't want his sons kicked out of the family. So do you think they'll have Rikishi show up?
I thought Rikishi died. Is he still alive?
Oh, Rikishi's still stink-facing people all over the place, man. Rikishi ain't dead. That was Umaga. That was their uncle.
That's what I was thinking of.
Get your Samoans right, man. Dude.
I know, look at me unintentionally being racist on that.
I know, right? The Samoan bulldozer's gone, and rest in peace, Yokozuna.
Yeah.
But, I think Rikishi will pop up somewhere. So
that would be interesting. I think this also, again, I'm gonna double down on my statement. This will lead up to The Rock.
Absolutely.
Coming back.
If they're gonna cause this to have a family thing, The Rock's eventually gonna have to come in and go, hold on, I'm the real leader of this family.
Yeah, I make billions of dollars.
They may end up pulling him in for a couple of pay-per-views, so we'll see.
I hope so. We haven't heard from The Rock in a while. The Rock hadn't been able to make movies because of coronavirus. He's been training his ass off like usual with nothing to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vince reached out to him and he was like, hell, I'll do a couple of pay-per-views. So
2 minutes, buddy, before the pay-per-view.
All right, so let's break down our winners. So, Chad, we'll start at the bottom. Otis versus Miz.
Otis.
Yeah.
Just because I like him.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Otis because I like him. I don't see where they go with him. I don't see where they go with Miz either, to be honest. I don't think neither one of them is up to beating these guys at this level.
Just because I like him and I want to see him do good, I'm going Otis.
Okay. Otis, and then they'll probably change it and he'll go for like a smaller title instead.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy versus Elias. I think we're both in unison. Jeff Hardy in that match.
Yep.
Bailey and Sasha Banks. I'm gonna go with Sasha in that one.
Yeah, I will too, because Bailey's had a long run. I think it's time to put it on somebody else, whether it's Sasha or not. Maybe give her a good
run. So Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, obviously, I believe last time I thought Randy was going to – you know what? I'm going to go with what I picked last time, because I think Randy has to win this title to set up a WrestleMania moment. So I think Randy's going to find a way to sneak out the win against Drew.
And then just to be on the 50-50 side, I'm going to go with Drew, just so we'll have a little – yeah, well, I'll go with McIntyre because I love him. I love the Claymore kick.
I love McIntyre too. I wouldn't mind
that
win.
In the way that it's way it's set up, Randy needs to win the title. But just for a little drama later, let's go. I'll go McIntyre. You go Orton. Let's see what we can figure out.
Okay, I think McIntyre's going to take it, and then Randy's going to take it, and then they're going to chase each other to WrestleMania or something.
Yeah.
Or McIntyre wins. Randy has to win the Rumble, and then he goes back after McIntyre again. One of those two. And then Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Obviously, Roman Reigns wins. Whether or not Jey and family fall in line, that remains to be seen. I think they won't fall in line. Or
look, I'm getting run-ins already over here. The Hulksters.
And they get excommunicated or whatever, and then that's where The Rock comes in, or Rikishi or something like. Maybe Rikishi comes in, and then Rikishi gets his ass whipped, and then The Rock comes in after that. Leading up to it. So anyway, go ahead.
No, I was just following what you were saying. We'll see what happens.
So it is officially now time for Hell in a Cell. We're going to let you guys go. Y'all have a good show, and we will see you later on this evening after the show is over to break down the results and see how wrong we were. All right, guys. Y'all enjoy. Peace.
Peace out, guys.